We have restructured our debt to invest in people, not just to service loans. And this is what resetting Ghana means, and it is delivering results. Honorable members, I'm pleased to note that Ghana has made tangible progress. Inflation has declined sharply from over 23.4% at the end of 2024 to 3.8% in January 2026. Currency stability has been restored, with the Ghanaian currency appreciating by 32% and ranking among the 5 best performing currencies in 2025. We successfully renegotiated our debt obligations on terms that safeguard our national sovereignty and ensure sustainability, and we're steadily exiting the IMF extended credit facility with dignity as partners and not as supplicants. These reforms are not merely national achievements, they contribute to regional confidence and integration. And in this regard, Zambia is a natural partner. The complementarities between our economies, notably in mining, agriculture, energy, and manufacturing, present compelling opportunities for joint ventures, value chain development, and expanded bilateral trade. Right, Honorable Speaker, to achieve economic transformation, Africa must not be ashamed to leverage its comparative advantage in its natural resource endowment. Africa must exercise greater sovereignty over its natural resources if it is to create prosperity for its people. The era where we parceled out large-scale concessions to speculators who then turned around and flipped them for huge profits must end. We have the know-how, the technology and capital are available, and indigenous companies must be encouraged to participate in the extractive and mining sectors. We must support our indigenous private sector to capture the commanding heights of our economies. In Ghana, mining and the extractive sector play a significant role in our economy. And much like Zambia and other African countries, we are the source of critical minerals like gold, bauxite, and manganese. And yet very little value is added to these minerals locally. My country is changing that narrative. Ghana established the Gold Board in April last year to take control of and regulate our gold exports. The Gold Board was given sole authority to export gold out of Ghana. Since the establishment of the board, gold exports from the artisanal and small-scale mining sector have increased from 63 tons to 104 tons in 10 months. And the sweetest part of it is that this 104 tons have earned Ghana over $10 billion in forex inflows. We're also taking steps to domesticate the value addition of our minerals. The Gold Board has recently signed an agreement with a local gold refinery to refine about 1 ton of gold every week, rather than exporting the raw Dory gold. We aim to commence local processing of our manganese and bauxite as well, instead of exporting the raw ores. We've also replaced the flat rate royalty system for minerals with a sliding scale system from 5% to 12% depending on the international market price of the mineral. Right, Honorable Speaker, in Dubai this week I attended the launch of the Global African Investment Summit. This initiative is led by Akin Adesina, former president of the African Development Bank, and a few collaborators who seek to find new ways to leverage the continent's natural resource endowment to raise more affordable financing to support Africa's economic transformation. This is an exciting initiative and has the potential to unlock enormous financial resources for Africa's development. As the African Union champion of African financial institutions, I'm leading advocacy for the repatriation and investment of part of Africa's huge foreign reserves in African financial institutions. Most of our foreign reserves are by colonial construct held in Western financial institutions, and in most cases generate no interest. If 30% of all the foreign reserves of African countries were repatriated and invested in our own African financial institutions, such as the African Development Bank, it will create an immense pool of wealth that could drive rapid infrastructural and economic growth. Madam Speaker, no African country can survive in isolation. We must build regional prosperity platforms, shared manufacturing zones, integrated energy grids and digital infrastructure. We must negotiate with one voice on minerals, trade and climate finance. We must be united in our strategy, just not as a slogan. Madam Speaker, a critical factor in changing Africa's story is governance and leadership. We must admit, Africa needs and deserves transparent and accountable leadership. The institutions and the laws to fight corruption must be allowed to operate without fear or favor. Abuse of public trust must be punished. We must protect public resources and use them efficiently for the good of our people. As President Obama said during a visit to Ghana, and I quote, he said, "Africa does not need strong men. It needs strong institutions." We must build our democratic institutions to be independent and efficient. Parliament and the judiciary must work independently in the public interest. Leaders must respect their oath of office to respect the Constitution. In our sub-region of West Africa, democracy is backsliding with a return to military dictatorships. Ghana is, however, on a mission to prove that democracy works and that our people can achieve prosperity and opportunity under a constitutional democracy. Right Honorable Speaker, I commend the efforts of the government and people of Zambia to stabilize your macroeconomic environment. The improved performance of the Zambian currency, the kwacha, and the ongoing reform agenda sends positive signals to investors and regional partners. And so Ghana looks forward to deepening trade, investment, and financial cooperation with Zambia to reinforce resilience and shared prosperity. Ghana follows Zambia's democratic journey with keen interest and confidence. And as Zambia prepares for general elections in August this year, we wish to express our trust in the strength of your democratic institutions and the commitment of the Zambian people for free and fair elections. It is in this spirit that Ghana and Zambia have revitalized our Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation, providing a structured, results-oriented framework for collaboration across all priority sectors, including trade, investment, energy, tourism, mining, agriculture, education, science and technology, youth development, and defense cooperation. Just this afternoon, we have signed 10 memorandums of understanding to act as the framework for our joint cooperation. Prominent among these is the Memorandum of Understanding to allow visa-free travel for all categories of passport holders between Ghana and Zambia. And so it means as of this afternoon, when signatures were appended, Zambians don't need a visa to go to Ghana, and vice versa. This is an important step towards the free movement of our people on the African continent. Peace and security remain indispensable foundations for sustainable development. Ghana values our cooperation with Zambia in defense training, intelligence sharing, and peacekeeping, and we remain committed to strengthening collective security across our continent. Equally important is the quest for restitutive justice and restoration. The African Union's 2025 theme is Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations. And this is both a moral imperative and a forward-looking call to action. As African Union's champion for reparations, Ghana will shortly sponsor a United Nations resolution on slavery. The resolution seeks to declare slavery as the greatest crime against humanity. And we will be honored to count on Zambia amongst its co-sponsors. Madam Speaker, I'm also addressing you this afternoon in my capacity as the African Union champion for gender and development. Ghana has moved beyond symbolism to action. We've elected our first female vice president and operationalized the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act, mandating a minimum of 10 all public appointments. I'm establishing a Women's Development Bank to unlock financing for female-led enterprises. But this is a continental struggle, and I urge us to advance together towards the decade of African women's financial aid and economic inclusion. When we invest in our women, we accelerate national development. Madam Speaker, the future of this world is African. The African Continental Free Trade Area offers us an unprecedented opportunity to boost intra-African trade, promote value addition, and accelerate industrialization. And so Ghana remains committed to working closely with Zambia to reduce trade barriers, to harmonize standards, and stimulate private sector partnerships. Our people are the true custodians of this partnership. The presence of Ghanaians in Zambia and Zambians in Ghana enriches both societies. Africa's democratic dividend, projected to account for 1/4 of the world's population by 2050, demands investments in skills, innovation, and representation in global governance. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you sincerely for this invitation to address this Parliament. Ghana remains steadfast in its commitment to strengthening our cooperation with Zambia, guided by mutual respect and shared destiny. Zikomo. May God bless the Republic of Zambia. May God bless the Republic of Ghana. And may God bless Africa. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.